guys, this is John. I'm playing Revisor in the 3-minute pool on ICC. This guy's 24-45. We're playing a 3-minute game. And, a very early D takes C4. You're supposed to play knight C3 against this and try to go knight G5, as I recall. So that's what I'll do. Bishop D5. So if E4, H6, take. I know there must be some sort of theory there, but I'm unaware of it. Still, we must go down this line. D5 now? Probably D5. So if he moves his knight, we can take on G5 or we can take on C4. I vaguely recall playing this before, but only in a Blitz game. So I'm completely on my own. Knight E5, which one do we take? C4 or G5? Let's take G5. I think last time I played this, I took C4. So let's try a new approach. A6, trying to go B5? Probably. I could play A4 to stop that. Queen D4 looks kind of attractive. Let's do that. Attack the knight. It's a little tough for him to attack the queen here, so I think it's all right to do this. I could castle queenside. It's probably acceptable. What about F4? F4 and then take on C4? Is that asking too much? Let's try it. I don't see an obvious refutation. I know this move is super greedy, but check Revisor. I saw Revisor play on Alexei 1's channel. He had a game against him, I think, where he won the other day. Okay, so if I take, he takes H2. I could play H3, therefore. Well, let's take this pawn. If he takes H2, I might just castle. Okay, we'll drop this back for protection. So I'm up a pawn. Both our kings potentially have safety issues in the long run. And he can't castle queenside anymore. He's a long way from castling short. He still needs to get his dark square bishop out. My king, kind of similar issues. He actually takes that pawn. Wow. Okay, so can't I just take here and then this knight is kind of stranded? Seems like that should be the case, but I can't win it, because if I take and then play queen g1, he can take f4. So I should probably just castle. Yeah, let's just do that. And he'll get out through g4. But he's very bound up. Seems like kind of hard to handle his position. If I take, he takes. Anything doing there? Probably not. Okay, let's go rook h1. He might try to trade the queens, like queen c5. He does. Okay, let's take, and then maybe king here. But then he has knight f2. Okay, bishop f3 it is then. I'm just trying to make sure I can defend d5. And I'm also trying not to allow anything tricky like knight f2 to d3. Plays knight e3. This might force me to take in order to keep my pawn on d5. He's got a slight time advantage, so we've got to watch that. Really, can you do that? Don't you just lose a piece if you do that? Got his knight pinned. All right, so he should have taken with the g-pawn. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. He can take on c3 and then play bishop c5, but I play king d2, and I'll take on e3 next move. That's over. He just resigned. Wow, okay, so you don't see GMs blunder pieces like that, but they are human too. We've known this for a while. Okay, let's have a look at this line. This is an interesting variation. The early capture on c4 in the Slav. So e3 and then immediate bishop e6. So first thing to note, if you want to attack this bishop, you can't do it right away with knight g5 because queen a5 check just wins a piece. Well-known fork, got to watch out for that. Loose pieces drop off. So therefore, knight c3 should be played first. And I thought the move was b5 here, but I guess I might be wrong about that. So knight f6, knight g5, and now bishop here, and then e4. And black has no turning back at this point. Of course, like bishop e6 would be a complete disaster. We could just take and double his pawns. So he'll play h6 and make us take, then take here. I take c6, he takes to the knight. Let's turn on the engine right about now. So d5, knight e5. Yeah, like I said, in the past when I had this position, I played bishop takes c4. I distinctly remember playing this move. But I don't think I got any advantage that time, and that's why I chose a different move this time around. Take. I guess the computer claims a small edge for white, but rook h5 defending the g5 pawn. Black has decent play. So it might be the case that bishop takes g5 is more critical. So he went a6 and queen d4. The queen often settles on this square in this line, I've noticed, in similar positions too. There's a line in the Pana-Bothinic variation that resembles this position. And in that line too, the queen can come to d4. So he played queen c7. I went f4. This seemed very greedy, but then again, I didn't really see like a reason not to play this move. I had a slight fear I was overextending myself, but that never really turned out to be the case. So temporarily we're up a pawn, but this h2 pawn is hanging. So I played bishop back to e2. I just did that kind of instinctively to like have the bishop in front of my king and also have it operating on both wings, and also to keep an eye on the g4 square. Like it's nice to be able to threaten bishop takes g4 all the time. Yeah, looks like it's fine. So he takes on h2. We trade. I castle. I'd love to be able to play bishop takes f6. Let's say e takes. I guess he could take with the other pawn as well. But queen g1. But he has queen takes f4 to save the knight. Otherwise, the knight has like no good flight squares, right? Like it can't go to g4 or f3. But queen takes f4 throws a spanner in the works. If g3, I guess there's knight f3 check, forking the king and the queen. So that's not working for us. So I just castled knight hg4. Maybe rook h1 isn't the best move. I don't know. I did think about king b1. That's the engine's top suggestion. But I wanted to make this rook do something in the position, and I thought rook h1 to h8 might be annoying. Or even rook h1 to h4. So that's why I didn't play it. Also, if the queens are potentially coming off the board, maybe king b1 like isn't the greatest move. I might want to have my king closer to the middle. But all that said, I'm probably wrong about that. King b1 is a useful move after all. Like if king b1, queen c5, what's going to happen? Queen a4 check. If b5, then we take this pawn. Knight d7 is not possible because of bishop takes g4. So king here is like the only other move, but then d6 is very good. Because if pawn takes, bishop takes g4, just wins immediately with the pin. Okay. So maybe I should strive to keep the queens on the board. Actively do that. So rook h1, queen c5. Yeah, in the game I was content to just trade queens. I thought I might be slightly better here. But again, queen a4 is a good move. Probably for similar reasons, like b5 is still losing the a6 pawn. Is that the case? Here, take b4. This knight is pinned. d6 is again strong. That's pretty complicated. I'm not sure I would have even seen this. Bishop b5 check. If king d8, queen a5 is going to win. Okay. So knight d7, bishop takes d7, king takes d7, queen d7. Key move. Yeah, and if you put something on c7, we'll just take it. King e6. I mean, this is a total computer line at this point. 0.0 chance I see all this in an actual game. Well, a Blitz game at least. Probably in an actual game too. This is too much, but yeah, you get the idea. So queen a4 was potentially a good plan. I didn't even look at that move. I just swapped the queens and then put the bishop on f3 to guard this pawn. But it looks like I'm letting go of all my advantage in doing so. It's now back to equality. Knight e3. I take on f6, yep, and he has to take with the g-pawn. Maybe knight e3 wasn't so great. Knight f2 is a better move. Attacking the rook. If rook f1, knight 2 to e4. Okay, trying to exploit the pin on the knight on c3 and also attack the bishop. Yeah, white might retain like a nagging advantage here because he does have some issues getting this dark square bishop out. And we do have the bishop pair still, even though this bishop on g5 isn't the greatest. What if he just plays like g6 or something? King d2, let's say bishop g7, rook h4. Yeah, there's this rook move up the board. Knight f2, king e2 as knight's on the verge of being trapped. Yeah, it is getting trapped. Okay, so we do have a certain advantage going on right here. His pieces are a little clunky. He still needs complete development. So take, and yeah, you just happen to take that way, and we get to pin him, winning a piece. Because like I said, if he takes on c3 and then plays bishop c5, we have king d2, and we'll just take here, and we'll be up a bishop in the endgame. So, and bishop d6, trying to take on f4 is not fast enough because this comes with check. Okay, so nice to get a win against a Grandmaster. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll be back tomorrow with another Blitz game. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.